Hello students. In the continuation of the lecture electrochemistry, we are going to start today with secondary voltaic cells. Previous to this, what we have done is primary voltaic cell. Primary voltaic cells are those which cannot be recharged. In there, I have explained you the construction, working, cell reaction of dry cell, also called as Leclanche cell, and I have also mentioned the uses of Leclanche cell. Now let us start with our secondary cell. Secondary voltaic cells, the voltaic cells that can be recharged by reversing the direction of current flow and thereby regenerating the original reactants. Such voltaic cells are called as secondary voltaic cells. So as the name suggests, they are those which can be recharged. Why they can be recharged? Because we can reverse the direction of the current flow. And once we reverse the direction of the current flow, the original reactants will be regenerated. As the original reactants will be regenerated, they can be again used up. So those which can be recharged are called as secondary voltaic cell. Now a very important point about secondary voltaic cell. Even though we are studying this under a category of voltaic cell, these cells play dual role. That is, they play as voltaic cell as well as a electrolytic cell, depending upon what are we doing with it. The secondary cells are galvanic cells during discharge. Discharge means when we are using that cell exactly in our reaction, and when we keep that galvanic cell for charging, that time it will behave as electrolytic cell. So it plays a dual role depending upon its action. If we are discharging it, it will be playing as galvanic cell, and if we are recharging, it will be playing as electrolytic cell. So we are going to see few examples of secondary voltaic cells. Again, in that example, we will be concentrating on its construction, representation, cell reaction, working and uses. So let us see the first example of secondary voltaic cell. So the first example of secondary voltaic cell is lead storage battery, also called as lead accumulators. Now this lead storage battery or lead accumulators are what? It stores electrical energy due to regeneration of original reactants during recharging. Means when we recharge our battery, it is storing the original reactants, and it functions as galvanic cell as well as electrolytic cell. As I told, when it is discharged, it will behave as galvanic cell, and when it is recharged, it will behave as electrolytic cell. Means it can behave as both. Now the lead storage batteries are generally the one where our electrical energy and EMF are not developed within the cell, but it is previously stored by passing an electric current. Hence, it is called as lead accumulator or lead storage battery. It is a reversible one because the electrochemical reaction can be reversed passing an electric current in opposite direction, and the consumed reactants are regenerated. Hence, battery can be charged after it is discharged. Means we can do both the things, charging as well as discharging. Now, the first thing we have to see is the construction of lead accumulator battery. This is how our lead accumulator battery is. It comprises of a group of lead plates with spongy lead serving as anode. You could see it has a group of 3 plates serving as anode, and another group of lead plates we have which has a lead oxide on that, they serves as cathode. So here you could see I am representing 3 normal plates of lead which is serving as anode, and 3 coated plates of lead which are coated with lead oxide, they behave as cathode. The 2 types of plates are alternately arranged to provide large reacting surface. Each cell contains several plates of each type as shown in the figure, and they are immersed in an aqueous solution of 38% H2SO4, and very important, its density should be 1.2 gram per ml. Now in this construction, both the parts, that is concentration of acid and density of acid, they both play a very vital role. Why? I'll be telling you when we are explaining its working. So this is how we represent our lead storage battery or lead accumulators. Now in exam, when you are drawing this, make sure that the plates are shown totally immersed in the electrolytic solution. Secondly, we have an alternate platings, that is anode, cathode, anode, cathode, anode, cathode, like this. Next is that is your anodes should be all connected together. Similarly, cathode should be all connected together. Okay, so this is what is our schematic representation for lead storage battery. After understanding the construction of lead storage battery, the next thing is how do we represent that. The representation of lead storage battery or lead accumulator will be our anode, that is lead, cathode, which is again lead but it is coated with lead oxide. In between the two we have a common electrolyte, that is your 38% sulfuric acid, where they both convert your lead of the two into lead sulfate. So we also have the 2 other electrolytes, that is lead sulfate. Once again, our anode part lead, lead sulfate, lead oxide, lead sulfate will be our cathode part, and in between the two the common electrolyte is our sulfuric acid. Again in this the contact is direct, so we have only single vertical lines everywhere. So this would be our representation of lead storage battery, or also known as lead accumulators. After understanding the construction and the cell representation, the next part comes is the cell reaction. Now when we are writing down cell reaction for lead accumulator cell, there will be 2 types of reaction. One, when it is discharge. I repeat again, when it is discharge, that time we are using or it is functioning as galvanic cell. Means your chemical energy is getting converted into electrical energy, a spontaneous reaction. So make sure that the reaction when you are writing down is discharge, means it will function as galvanic cell. So first we will see what will be the reaction when it is functioning as galvanic cell, and after this the next we will see when it functions as electrolytic cell, means that is recharging. Now while discharging, first part will be the oxidation, which will take place definitely at anode. Now what will happen in an oxidation process? When the cell is provided with current, the spongy lead is oxidized to Pb2 plus ions by giving out 2 electrons. This electrons accumulates on lead plates. Now the Pb2 plus ions so formed will combine with our SO4 2 minus ions to form PbSO4. Now in this, where do we get this SO4 2 minus? We get this SO4 2 minus from our normal, the common electrolyte which we have used, that is 38% H2SO4. From there we get this SO4 2 minus. So when we say oxidation at anode, there are actually 2 parts taking up place. What is oxidation? Where lead gets oxidized to lead 2 plus ions, and second is precipitation, where our lead 2 plus ion combines with sulfate 2 minus ions to form lead sulfate. So overall oxidation will be an addition of these two, where our lead ion common on both the sides will get cancelled, and our overall oxidation will be lead solid combining with sulfate ion to form lead sulfate by giving away 2 electrons. So this will be our overall oxidation reaction taking place at anode. After oxidation, the next thing we have to see, that is reduction, which will happen at cathode. Now at cathode, what happens is the electrons which are produced on anode travels through the external circuit and re-enters the cell at cathode. At this electrode, in the presence of H plus ions, our PbO2 is reduced to Pb2 plus ions. This Pb2 plus ion also combines with SO4 2 minus ion, which are again by sulfuric acid, to form PbSO4. So in this also we have two reactions taking up place. The first is reduction, where our lead oxide combines with H plus ion of sulfuric acid with 2 electrons to give us Pb2 plus ion, and this Pb2 plus ion combines with our SO4 2 minus to again form PbSO4. That is a precipitation reaction. So if I sum up these two reaction and say it as overall reduction, so again Pb2 plus ion will get cancelled from both the sides, resulting into lead oxide plus 4H plus sulfate ion plus 2 electrons, giving us lead sulfate plus 2 water molecule. That will be our overall reduction reaction. So in oxidation, it has formed lead sulfate solid. Even in reduction, it is forming lead sulfate solid. So when I sum up the two, we will get our net cell reaction. So the net cell reaction will be Pb solid plus PbO2 solid plus 4H plus 2SO4 2 minus, giving us 2 PbSO4 plus 2H2O. If I rewrite the equation, 4H plus SO4 2 minus will combine to give us 2H2SO4. So the same equation can be rewritten as Pb solid plus PbO2 solid plus 2H2SO4 aqueous, giving us 2 PbSO4 solid plus 2H2O liquid. So in this given cell reaction, as we can see that when the reaction is taking place, what it is resulting into? It is resulting into formation of lead sulfate. Now the potential of lead accumulator is 2.041 volt. This is the cell potential of one set of lead accumulator or lead storage battery, that is 2.041 volt. Now an important point which I have told that I will be explaining you when I am talking about the working. While construction, I have mentioned that it is very important that the sulfuric acid which we use has to be 38% and its density has to be 1.2 gram per ml. Why? The reason is, as the cell operates to generate current, H2SO4 is consumed, as you can see from the net cell reaction. So its concentration as well as its density decreases and the cell potential is decreased. Okay, and we know that the cell potential depends upon the concentration of electrolyte. Means again here it depends upon the concentration as well as the density of sulfuric acid. And that is why when I explained you the construction, I told that it is very important that the sulfuric acid which we used should be 38% by mass and its density should be 1.2 gram per ml. because as you go on using its potential, the cell potential will go on dropping. So very important that we make sure that the concentration and the density of sulfuric acid is being maintained properly throughout the construction and throughout the working. So this is what we can explain the construction, the representation and the cell reaction of lead accumulator battery. Again I repeat, I am telling you this net cell reaction during a discharge. That is when we are using it as a galvanic or Voltaic cell.